Hey everybody, so here I'm back again with this HP TouchSmart. I think it's the 610 from 2011, and of course if you haven't watched my previous video, definitely check it out. So we're visiting this machine again to finish it up. I didn't intend on making this video, or I should say I didn't intend on starting the video this early on in the process, because I was intending on starting this thing up with the network cable connected and letting it download drivers and stuff. But watch what happens. So we'll start it up. So basically what's going on is it's blue screening during startup. Show what's happening here. And there you go. And each time the stop error is different. Now I'm going to go ahead and yank out the Ethernet cable. And you can see the system is starting up. This is a well-documented issue on this channel regarding Windows 11, and a very specific Ethernet driver from Realtek that is included in the USB installer. And of course, it probably only affects computers which do not meet the Microsoft Elite class system requirements on Windows 11. Therefore, Microsoft probably really doesn't care. I mean, this issue was present in 23H2, and it's also present in 24H2. Just to put it in perspective. So what I gotta do real quick is I need to load my drivers onto my flash drive, because this has to be installed offline, of course. Now I could technically, I think this thing has Wi-Fi. Now in a pinch I could use Wi-Fi, but we're just going to use my USB drive. Okay, so I'm going to plug in our USB drive, and of course I have a video on this issue on the channel. As mentioned, it's a well-documented issue on this channel. It's a pretty easy fix. You just have to go online and get the driver, but the problem is Realtek, in their infinite wisdom, took down the server or web hosting that hosted the driver. It's out there on the internet somewhere, but I gotta find it on the internet so I can update the link on my video, but I have it here. So there it is, Realtek Gigabit Ethernet family controller. Let's go into Device Manager and look at what driver is currently installed. Got a couple of missing drivers there. Hopefully those will get taken care of once we get online and get drivers downloaded from Windows Update. But yes, this driver right here is the culprit. This driver, and it's version 9.1.412.2015. Driver provider Microsoft, March 31st, 2015. So this is probably a driver that's been around for a little while, probably since the Windows 10 days. It's probably a Windows 10 driver that for some reason is not compatible with Windows 11. And I think this issue has been ongoing since 23H2, but of course since it affects computers that are not Elite class systems, Microsoft really doesn't care. Now of course Elite class is my own little nickname for the Windows 11 system requirements. It's of course not an official Microsoft branding. Although who knows, maybe one day they might start calling them the Elite class systems. Who knows? But let's go ahead and install this driver so we know what driver is there now. And it's funny it says install Windows 10. It's probably a newer driver that's compatible with both Windows 10 and Windows 11. We'll just run through this setup utility. Now this driver that we're installing is not a brand new driver, as you saw it was from 2022, from what I could see. However, it's new enough that it's compatible with Windows 11 24H2 and stops this crashing blue screen issue. And it's real funny because when there's no network cable attached, everything just runs fine. You just don't have network access, but then you plug in the Ethernet connection, boom, immediate crash. Or if it's starting up, it crashes right during startup. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and plug in. Well, first we're going to disconnect our flash drive. And we're going to plug in our Ethernet cable, and the system this time should not crash. Alright, we have network access. So now it's just a matter of, first thing I'm going to do is run Windows Update, which is going to begin running on its own anyway because we're dealing with Windows 11 Home. So we'll check for updates, download and install the updates, including drivers, all that good stuff, and we'll go from there. Okay everybody, so it's important that when you're installing updates, especially on a clean installation, you go into Windows Update and you go to, let's see here, Advanced Options, Optional Updates. And you can see we have 14 driver updates in here. So let's go ahead and select these all. Not sure why it doesn't automatically install a lot of these, but I mean, it is what it is. So we'll have it download and install these drivers. Okay everybody, so I've gotten all the updates installed and also installed a few various applications on here. So let's go and do a restart to demonstrate the startup speed of this machine. And I'm also going to hop into the BIOS because I had a user on the previous video question if the touchscreen worked in the BIOS, which pretty sure is going to be an obvious no, but we're going to look. So for example, if I tap advanced, nothing happens. So as I suspected, this old HP SEP utility does not recognize touch. So, in case anybody is wondering, there you go. Now, let's go and watch this thing start up. And this is not going to be the fast startup mode. This is going to be the conventional startup mode because we're doing a restart. And there we are. So, not the fastest startup out there, but definitely not bad for a 14-year-old system like this. And I'll definitely say it's, when this thing gets returned to its owner, she's going to be really impressed with this thing. Matter of fact, she texted me over today asking about the progress on it. I told her that, well, actually she had a question about another computer that she has, and she asked about her baby, as she calls this thing. And I told her, I said, it's a work in progress. I said it's running a whole lot better than it did. And I'll say, it's pretty amazing for a computer that Microsoft would prefer you throw away. Computers like this with minor upgrades, I mean RAM and solid state drive. I mean, you look at videos on this channel of me doing lots of RAM and solid state drive upgrades on older systems, and force installing Windows 11 on them, and they turned out to be pretty decent machines. So it's like, okay, why do we need to throw out perfectly usable hardware? Oh, just because the CPU doesn't support TPM 2.0, or the system don't support TPM 2.0. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. And for example, you can see touch works. Now, I did install the Windows 7 style menu. As you can see, it comes up with the mouse cursor, but if I use my finger, the touch brings up the Windows 11 menu. I may actually end up uninstalling that Windows 7 menu from this thing just because of that, but yeah, really impressed with this thing. It went from a nearly unusable or almost unusable system, bloated down, super slow, and what was funny is she asked, does the touch work? Apparently she was telling me that the touch wasn't working previously, which, I mean, clearly it works fine now. Now, one thing I need to go ahead and do is I need to figure out how to get that touch keyboard working. Okay, so if we go to the taskbar and right click and choose taskbar settings, it's right in here. So by default it's turned off. There's also a virtual touchpad option there, but we're going to set this to always. That way this right here will be available at all times. So for example, so you can see that works. Very nice. I think she'll be very happy with this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and restore our files, and I think that wraps up for this machine. So we have definitely breathed some new life into this 2011 HP TouchSmart 610. So the good news about Windows 11 here is, supposedly from what I've heard, the 25H2, I think that's what it's going to be called, update is going to be like 23H2, where it is an enablement package supposedly, to where you don't have to do a full upgrade install to get it. So of course it'll not show up in Windows Update on systems not meeting the Elite Class system requirements, but it can manually be installed most likely just like you can with 23H2. So okay, everybody, since I forgot to do the fast startup test, let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'm going to shut this down. And we're going to start it back up. Again, that DB drive just sounds like it wants to break. So there you go. Pretty fast startup. And there we are. Anyways, that wraps it up for this video. Hope y'all enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching.